Uh, Big question. Lou Malnati's Giordano's.
Neither. A true Chicagoan goes Pequods. Come on.
What's up, guys? Amanda Smith here with ESPN basketball analyst, Hall of Famer, and my fellow Chicagoan, Brooke Weisbrod. Thank you for joining me today.
Hey, that's a good introduction. Yes, I'm loving the T-shirt. You bring Chicago to the table well.
So you were playing professional basketball over in Europe. Then you injure your back. At what point did you realize, okay, I can still be around the game, just in a new role?
It took a long time and kind of a dip in changing really like my identity. I felt like I had played sports for so long that's you kind of get used to that being just how you start to identify yourself. And people would always engage with you about, oh, I watched your game last night, or how is basketball going? And so it kind of gave you that just easy way to like make that a part of everything that you do and everything that you're about. And I loved it. And so when I moved to Chicago, I started a new job in advertising, and I felt this void. Like, I love the city life, and I love the challenge of being, I guess, in the work world and corporate, and going to work on Michigan Avenue. All that was really cool. But I just felt like there was a part of me that was really missing. And I ended up going back down to my alma mater. And while I was being interviewed, we were doing the internet broadcast. So I sat in for an interview, and we finished. The game kept going. And all of a sudden, we found ourselves kind of calling the game. And the biggest light bulb went off. So it was like, at that point, that was me saying, this is a way you can be a part of the game still without, I didn't think I wanted to go the route of coach. And, my body just said, hey, we're done playing. So figure it out. And so it kind of like filled that void and helped me feel just, I guess, that excitement. Like I always say, it's the closest thing to me to playing. So that's why I love it so much.
That time in between for you, what do you feel like it taught you?
It taught me to find different creative ways to express your love for something, even if physically you can't do it, right? So, my imagination, like I thought I was going to play till I was well into my 30s. I didn't expect it like 21 all of a sudden to be like, well, we're done here. Thanks for all the hours and sacrifice and all the time and energy and effort you put into it. So it was a change of perspective. And I think we can all, anybody that's right around graduating college, or even a few years out, or trying to get started in this business, you feel really lost, and people will say things to you like you're never going to make it, and you don't have any kind of potential. But then there's other people who say, I think you do a decent job, and here's some areas where I think you could get better. Like, those are the people you have to listen to. I thought, well, I did go to a really small school, but I know that I really love this, so I'm willing to find different ways to make myself better and to make myself known and to separate myself. So that was how I think that was how I kind of got out of the depression of like, I'm no longer good at this thing that I used to be known for, but I still want to be a part of it. So how can I make my impact?
I love what you said about feeling lost and people maybe rejecting you. Because I always say, like, just keep showing up when everyone else is, like, at some point going to stop. Like, no one knows kind of what's in here,
Yeah, that's exactly right. Because most people everybody who's successful knows sometimes it's not a matter of you stay talented from the beginning. It's because you work at your talent and you're willing to work just a little bit harder than the next person. I mean, I try to equate it to like being in the gym taking shots. Like, at some point, the game started to slow down, and I fully believe in the power of 10,000 hours. Like, there's something to be said about dedicating that much time in something, you're going to become an expert. So I'm in my 15th season, and I still feel like I have, such a long ways to go, and fighting myself to stay creative and do new things, and not just get complacent with, hey, here's your schedule, like, go do it. Like, okay, because I understand the routine of how to prepare for games, so I don't want myself to get comfortable with not getting better at it.
And you hit half court shots while you're at it. Hey.
Oh my God. So they bring in, this is the Florida Gators women's basketball team. So if there's other people in the gym when they're practicing, like they do it every single day after practice. So when I had a game there, they were like, yeah, come on and do the shot. And it took me like 25 times. I never made it. They were waiting to go to breakfast. And so the other day, now we find ourselves in Kentucky. They go through a 2.5 hour practice. So I just, I'm sitting there the whole time. So I'm tight. I'm not like all sweated out and they're dribbling and like everything's loose. So they're waiting on me to go to dinner. And I'm like, if I don't hit this half court shot, I'll be holding them up. I don't know what's going on. So, yeah, it took everything, but thank God it went in.
One and done. So I was reading one of your blog posts, and you talked about how if there's two young girls watching a game and they see two women broadcasters calling that game, well, now that's just the norm for them, and they feel that that job is realistic. Where do you feel we can still make progress that pushes us towards that sort of inclusiveness?
I think women have to be in the seat of making the decisions. They have to be in the room, and there has to be a span of just different types of human beings, but especially representation from more women. And just looking at the world in women's basketball, both at the collegiate and the WNBA level, more women of color in those positions. I just think a room that has an inclusive feel to it, then you can get so many different people's perspectives. And like, we can't teach perspective, but you can certainly be open to hearing it, right? And more different minds, to me, the better. And it's going to make a better product and just a more inclusive environment. Because you've got sports fans that are all different types of people, right? So why not give everybody that representation? So I think that's where it starts. It's got to start at the top. But what I think is great is we're seeing Becky Hammond in the NBA. We're seeing Chrissy Tolliver make that move. We're seeing a lot of ladies who are respected for their game and their talents. So those are the next waves. As young broadcasters and as athletes who are transcending, the Fran Belibis of the world, the high school kids that are dunking, that's the part that they're playing. They are showing that there's things that never have been done before, especially on a regular basis, like dunking, is now possible. So I think just the young kids got to work on their game. People in the media, we've got your blog, you've got this, great platform that you've created and set up for yourself. And you're opening up the conversation for everybody to say, hey, this is a new way of looking at things. Women are in the game. We are doing big things, and we want to be heard, and we want to be paid equally also.
Great. So you also created your own program called Skills and Score, which provides sports camps and workshops for Chicago public school students. Why?
I just love the opportunity to have a place for kids to play that's safe and that's really fun, and that they can walk away having a little more confidence than when they walked in the door. It kind of came out of the creation of me thinking I could just start a camp, and at first I wanted to try to make that kind of my summer job, because I do spend a lot of time in the summer away from calling games. So that was the first thought, and then it really morphed into something much bigger than that, which was there's so many great people in here in Chicago, especially through Chicago public schools, and just some friends that I've gotten to know that either have facilities that they're willing to offer or donate food or their time. Nike Chicago has been great. There's been a lot of basketball trainers and people who've played in college and just understand the game and understand how to connect with kids, and that it's about being in the gym, showing up and saying like, hey, here's a game that can be a vehicle for you to change your entire life. Whether if you're good enough to play it, if you love it to report on it, if you want to write about it. So I try to kind of go in with that mindset and just, really just offer a fun couple of days. And I would love to expand it and do some great things. And that's kind of on me, I think, getting out of just doing the broadcasting world of, how can I make a bigger impact with my platform? So I think it's a responsibility in a good way that we all have, especially being in this business. And it's been a fun challenge. And I love starting to understand how much better it is when you can build a team and get great input from other people that just help you, in turn help a whole community of people that are often forgotten about in the city. I mean, the resources on the south and west sides are pretty bad, and I would love to see our city invest more into those communities, starting with camps and giving them better facilities.
Okay, quick game. It's 3-question, this or that. Halves or quarters?
Oh, quarters, please.
Okay, cool. We're
Please.
here. We're right here.
Yeah, the men's college game is the only game in the world of basketball that's played in halves, and there's no good reason that I've heard yet that convinces me to say halves are better. I can't wait for the change. It's coming.
Do you think it'll be anytime soon?
I would hope it's on the voting block for the next set of rule changes, and I want to say that that's this summer. And I would love to be in the room when actually that decision's made, or if there's a vote available. Maybe I need to start doing my homework and get involved. But yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. The NIT experimented with it in kind of a weird way that reset fouls after 10 minutes. It's just like, no, just do quarters. Let's just everybody be the same. That's basketball about.
Yeah. Okay. Overtime or buzzer beater?
Buzzer beater.
Every time.
Every time.
LeBrons or Jordans? I hear you're a sneaker expert.
Oh, that's a tough question, but I think for right now I still got to go Jordans because it's Jordan. But because I've just now, I think that last year's LeBrons, they changed everything pretty much. It's funny, I have them on right now. They changed everything about them, the style of it, and he just hit a home run with them. But I would say it's still too new, and Jordans go back to what, 85, 87 with the first pair? I don't know for sure, but come on. We got to give them a head start.
Keep it classic. Okay, we had some great fan questions for you, so I want to get to as many as we can. So, B. Greenwell 23 says, what are the top 3 traits you think it takes to succeed as a sports broadcaster?
Awesome question. Thank you for submitting that. I think the first thing that is required is being curious about people, about their stories, about how you can tell their stories. Second thing would be persistence, because there's plenty of no's in this business. It's required that you hear, I think, a lot of no's before you hear yes. It's just, that's like the skin thickening building process of this industry. And I think the third one is professionalism is sort of a blanket statement, but what I think I mean by that is, because you are your own brand in a way, what do you want to represent? And to me, I think a better word might be authenticity, because everybody just wants you to be who you are, and that's kind of hard sometimes to figure that out as you're going through who you are offline, who you are on the air, who you want to be socially, and it's like, it's too exhausting to be too many different people. Like, just be exactly who you feel you truly are, and that's what people will respond to the best.
Okay, B. Snyder 33, lots of numbers here. Who were you most starstruck interviewing for the first time?
It hasn't happened yet, but it almost would have happened had Beyonce been at the Pitt game last week. Jay-Z was there, and that was cool. I didn't get to interview him, but I did go up and introduce myself. That was pretty cool. But I think there've been so many great athletes, and just having a chance to be next to them, to hear their stories. I don't think it would be an athlete though, just because I played the game. It's kind of like, hey, I get it, and I'm in your world, so I'm gonna hold off until the day it's Beyonce or like Michelle Obama.
When I see you finally get Beyonce or Michelle Obama, just know I'm somewhere like, yes, Brooke. Yes. Tim Rushi says, what is something that has helped you be successful, whether that's a mindset, how you cope, etc.?
This is, I guess, a little cool nugget that really did help me, more like with interviews, I think, and being able to think on the fly. Was, we have Second City here in Chicago, as you know, and every Sunday night, I believe they still do it, but they offer drop-in improv classes. So you go in, you basically play games for a couple hours, but it's fun because you learn how to think on your feet, and you can take any answer, whether it's an angry one or whatever, and just kind of roll with it. So that was something that really helped me out a lot, and as painful as it was, sometimes sitting down to like watch film and figure out ways where you can be better, because every time I watch myself, I'm pretty critical. So I'm like, I really don't want to watch any of this, to be honest. But you got to do it, and you got to find ways that you feel like you can be more descriptive or just tell the better story. Really is kind of what it comes down to, with less words.
Do you feel like that has sort of helped you with ad-libbing throughout games?
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. I just think it helped me like really think on my feet and let myself go. So I wasn't having to think about what I was saying. I was just having a conversation on the air.
Tab says, what is something people wouldn't know about the career of a sports broadcaster?
Oh gosh.
Oh, we got you thinking here.
Maybe how incredibly unglamorous it is. I don't know if that's just the perception that people have, but you know, it is awesome to have those moments where, you know, we have these big games and we're feeling that adrenaline and being on the air. So like that's the most amazing part of it. But there have been times where you know, I'm running on like a couple of hours of sleep and you wake up and you like don't know literally which city you're in. And you got to drive to the airport and you're just like, oh my gosh, let me try to concentrate on just getting here safely, because it might be in the middle of nowhere and you've never been to this city before, or it's like, you know, a really small town, and those kind of days can be dangerous. Or you're trying to get ready for a show and you happen to like maybe oversleep your flight a little bit. So
Is this a true story?
you're getting ready in an airport bathroom. You're just like, how am I going to look cute? So I don't know. I think that's, you know, kind of a little more on the superficial side of things, but these are true statements. I've had to bring a couple of different shirts to when I did sideline football, because it was 95 degrees. And if you wear the wrong material, you can't, you know, have a conversation with somebody in a microphone in your hand, and you look a hot mess. So shout out to, you know, all of our football sideline reporters who could, you know, pull it off in any degree weather. Like, you guys have my utmost respect. Can't do it.
But it's so funny because, oh gosh, I think it was like, I don't even remember when, but I was working freelance and there was a game in Kentucky. It was like 6 hours away and I had to drive there. Well, the air conditioning in my car was broken and it was like the dead heat of the summer. So like windows down, my hair is just like a mess by this point. And I needed to change before I went into the game. And the only available spot was at this like random gas station in a porta potty.
Try to breathe through your mouth. You're just like, oh.
Like, this definitely isn't sanitary, but I'm just gonna try to make it through.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, sounds like TV. Yeah, that's about right.
Okay, final question. We know you played basketball, now you cover it, but Cole Mard says, when did you discover you loved it?
I discovered I loved basketball because my older sister played it, and it would have been Nerf hoops in the bedroom. Like that's how I would have remembered it. And then watching the Celtics and the Bulls and the Lakers in the 80s, and then of course the Bulls in the 90s. That was always my favorite thing to do in the summer. And then when I really got into college basketball, I guess it would have been around. UNLV used to be really good back in the day, the Running Rebels, and then Duke. The Duke Kentucky rivals were great. I mean, I was babysitting the night of the Christian Laettner shot, and I'm surprised I didn't wake up the kids when I was doing that because I was just screaming. And then, you know, the one shining moments, I would always stay up. I taped those. This is, I mean, dang, I hate that I'm dating myself, but this is the story. So I would tape those, and then I would put them all together on like a VHS, and then I would bring them with our team when we would go play our conference tournament. So that would be like our pregame, like warm up. We would watch it, and then, you know, we didn't have DJs or anything like that. So I always made our warm up tapes too for pregame. So
the one shining moment is one of my favorite parts of the whole year. Got the whole song memorized, singing my remote every single time.
Can you imagine being the people that get to put that together in the edit room? Like, how fun.
And it happens so quick too, right? It's like, game over. Okay, let's play it.
That's high pressure. That's like shooting a free throw to win the game right there.
The ball is tipped. All right, well, that's enough for my singing career. It was so great to talk to you today. Thank you so much for making time for me.
Yeah, thank you, Amanda. No, good luck out in Utah, and we miss you in Chicago. Come back anytime. And I live close to the United Center, so we have to hit up a Bulls game.
Well, that's done. I'm just gonna hop on a flight and I'll see you soon.
No, let's do it. Hot dog grind.
All right, guys, for Amanda Smith. No, I'm Amanda Smith.
Who are we? What's going on?
What's happening? For Brooke Weisbrod, I'm Amanda Smith. We'll see you next time.